Hi, everybody. Welcome to Away Games, a Chicago Cubs podcast. Probably now less than ever a Chicago Cubs podcast, I guess. I'm Kevin McCaffrey. I'm here with, oh, look, it's Adam Amawala.
In the same room.
Cancel
us if you must.
Cancel us, absolutely. We are actually sitting weirdly far apart, kind of, for being in the same room. And the audio quality sounds a little different because we have a roundabout mic. We need a mic that captures not just two people, but three people because we have Ken Schultz here. What's up, Ken?
Again, the same room. Can we just cancel the Cubs instead?
I mean, they kind of did, right? That was the last time we were together. We did the post-trade deadline one together.
Yep. The devastation, death, famine, war episode.
Yeah. And now, Ken, since I think you're the sort of reason for the season, you were the team captain of this whole situation, why this is happening right now. So do you want to tell people what's up?
Yeah, so when they decided they were going to have a full baseball season this year and have fans in the stands, the first thing that popped into my mind, one of the first, was I wonder if it'll be safe to do another baseball road trip, because that's what I've been doing every year up until 2020 for my life, I guess.
I think you're winning the stadium count right now.
Just barely, though. I think I'm one ahead of Adam at this point. But yeah, I'm one of those fans whose goals is to see all 30 active Major League parks, and turns out I've seen more than 30, but that's because they rebuilt almost all of them in my lifetime. So anyway, to cut it short, I threw out to you guys at some point, hey, I want to go outside the time zone and see baseball this year. And you were like, cool. And I
went to the weirdest time zone.
Yeah, yes, because the two stadiums I'd most wanted to see were the old Safeco, which is now T-Mobile, whatever, in Seattle, or Coors. And since Kevin had already seen Seattle, you suggested, hey, let's do Denver. And Denver in mid-August for a Rockies team that's 20 out of first sounded great to all of us, because that's the kind of fans we are.
I mean, it is.
Yet they swept the Padres.
Yeah, we saw two Rockies wins over the Padres. And I mean, if we are going to do a trip that has no Cubs involved whatsoever, I guess it's appropriate that we saw another team whose vibe matches the Cubs right now, you know?
Desperate and getting sadder by the day, and Arrieta. Yeah.
And that's true. We saw Jake Arrieta yesterday.
Somehow did better than we thought and still did poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he left it seemed like there was a leg injury, and he gave up a homer to someone I'm fairly certain I had not heard of.
Yeah, the backup catcher for the Rockies.
Nunez. Nunez, yeah. Nunez bomb.
You could honestly pull any Latinx name out of a hat, and we would not smile and nod at that point, because it would make sense that Jake Arrieta would give up a home run to any player in the big leagues at this point.
Our seats were great for watching Arrieta pitch, and it was a mess in the first inning. But yeah, we were right behind the plate there, and
you could see every ball break square into the middle of the strike zone.
Yes, a lot of Jake getting mad. Had some great defense behind him, but that felt like an authentic Cubs experience.
Yeah, and also as we were planning this trip, we were kind of tossing dates around. And I'd mentioned a few, like this week, and then one against the Giants in September. And Adam mentioned at one point, hey, the Cubs are going to be here in early August. And so we all were kind of thinking, maybe, it might be fun. But the thought in the back of my mind at that time, this was well before the massacre, was, if we traveled to Denver, Colorado, and watched them get swept by this Rockies team, just how sad that would be. And I think it was Kevin who eventually had some kind of conflict that meant we couldn't do that one. And God bless your conflict.
Praise be to Kevin's conflict.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. So happy to do it. But as Adam pointed out, we did do some good for the Cubs. Adam pointed out at Away Games Pod, if you want to follow on Twitter and Instagram, we're still doing these things at Away Games Pod. But we did bring the Cubs luck this week too.
We did. The Cubs can only win when the three of us are watching baseball games in a different city that doesn't involve the Cubs.
It's there's a complex number of steps. It's sort of like the balk rule,
It is a Voltron of sadness.
Yeah, but they won 2 in a row.
Yes,
in Cincinnati,
and they can't lose today. We're recording this on Thursday. You got to feel good about that.
3 unbeaten Cubs days in a row. When does that happen? June?
Honestly, I was looking at the schedule in the middle of the latest losing streak, and the thought in my mind was,
They'll never
when
win
do
again.
I find a win? Like even a possibility of a win.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've done 2 in a row against a hard-charging Cincinnati team, no less, feels miraculous at this point. The miracle of Janeshwi.
Yeah. You love to Hermosillo it.
You absolutely love to Hermosillo it. And Michael Hermosillo came up. He was finally called up. He's a guy who'd been tearing up the ball at AAA, and he was tearing up the ball in spring training too. And he's just had a couple of unfortunately timed injuries. Now he got called up, immediately hits a bomb, has a 80 grade casual bat flip immediately on it. Just seems like a really fun guy and an interesting player that we picked up for nothing.
It was a bit Justin Upton-esque, that bat flip, like the quick up and down.
Yes, it was very quick. He knew it. Obviously, his first homer at the major league level this year. I think he had gotten some major league time with the Angels before this. But yeah.
Did you see the Taylor McGregor "How It Started, How It's Going" tweet about him? That she found a photo from probably late 90s or early 2000s of him in the stands at Wrigley wearing a Sammy Sosa t-shirt, and then tagged that with the photo of the home run
that rules.
yesterday. Yeah, so
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, well done.
That's really good, and I had not realized how much of like a local guy Hermosillo was. He apparently was recruited to be a running back at the University of Illinois.
What?
And the coach at the time, I think Tim Beckman, told him when he was trying to recruit him that as a 28th round draft pick, you're not going to make it. Like, your chances of making the major leagues are very low. You're not going to make it. So people have been bringing that up a lot. And he had... as
a means to say you should play football instead.
Yeah, which understand he wanted to get the guy to come play football. And as Michael Hermosillo this was brought up to him, he was talking about that. Like, do you have a chip on your shoulder about the people who were telling you this? And he was kind of like, you can... use that negativity and try to prove things to people for a little bit, but for me, long term, what you need is to think about the people who did believe in you, which is a really nice thing. And he was like, to the coach's credit, whatever, most 28th round picks don't make it, but. Recruited to play football at the University of Illinois, a Cubs fan, loving Sammy Sosa growing up, and he's up bat flipping, making Brenneman sad in Cincinnati. Like, what a beautiful sequence of the week for Michael Hermosillo.
Yeah, that is a wonderful outlook, and he could never have a job in stand-up comedy.
No, definitely not. We all did a show here last night. It was fun in
outdoor
Denver.
show in Denver. Good times, man. It was.
Should we do a post-show interview? How do you feel after your first? This is Ken's first show since before COVID. How do you feel?
I was out there just trying to shake the rust off, just trying to get back in the groove, and it felt good. I got up on stage, and it was even discounting whatever the audience response was, the fact that I kind of immediately got back into that on-stage mindset where you're kind of in that zone of. You know what your next joke is coming, but you also can kind of see a riff kind of in the middle of it, and you kind of go with that. That's a beautiful feeling that it turns out I'd been missing. So I
think you did great, and Kevin and I say bully for you.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny when there are little things in your brain that you have been dormant for so long, and then they do just instinctually come back like that. So that's the
pandemic reminded me of so much of what I had been missing over the past couple of years of kind of putting it on the back burner. And if I'm going back in it just for the fun of that, I'm fine with it for now.
Oh yeah, and the Cubs are playing just for fun right now too.
Sometimes fun,
yeah, attempting fun. Ian Happ, we should also say with the Cincinnati series, Ian Happ, couple bombs. Trying. I really the things I'm rooting for now this season are such bummers of things. I'm I would love to see Ian Happ get to 200 as a batting average. I would love that.
I don't get to 200 and hit 20 home runs. There's a world where that's possible.
That's true. And then that just I don't want the back of his baseball card to have a 1 in front of it.
Yeah.
And then Kyle Hendricks got another win, 14-5 for this team.
Yeah, and we were kind of discussing that. The pitcher win is obviously a terrible stat. But it still feels like that record, especially for this team, says something about the kind of quality Kyle Hendricks is throwing out there just about every start.
It's weird. Hendricks has had he's had the 2 worst games of his career this season. Yeah,
both against the Braves.
Sunday night game against, well, that was all, he had 2 bad ones against the Braves.
Yeah.
The Sunday night game was the worst, and then comparably bad was the one against the Brewers just a week ago, right? But you look at his game log the rest of the year, everything else has been good. Like, basically, he had a couple tough ones early, and then since then, it's been nothing but quality start after quality start this whole time. And yeah, so I'm like, if he, I don't know, a world in which he wins 6 in a row now to get to 20 seems pretty impossible, but that's the other thing I would love to see.
My mind really wants to comp him to that famous Steve Carlton 1972 season where Carlton won, I think, 27 games for a Phillies team that won 59 total.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not that, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, but this Cubs team currently as constructed is that Phillies team in 72, and Kyle Hendricks is pitching at a level that's close to that level of elite. So I think being in the realm of that comp says a lot about what the kind of greatness that Kyle Hendricks is throwing out there, you know. And I'm going to say greatness because he is great.
There's just, you can't reasonably look at the body of Kyle Hendricks' career and say he hasn't been great. I mean, since he entered the league, this is a top 10 to 15 pitcher. Like, he just is. I'm sorry. The ERA's top 10. Like, this is that, and ERA, as you guys might know, is the amount of runs you give up in the time you're there, which is the main point of pitching, is to have that number low. And there's other things that, you know,
I really still feel like it's just because he doesn't throw hard. I really think that's the whole thing.
Right, and he doesn't have like the 13 strikeout games that some other guys have, and those are fun too. I would love to have one of those guys on the team sometime soon as well.
I think a Maddox is more fun than a 3.5 hour 13 strikeout game.
Oh yeah. The Maddox you look at and go, I just can't believe that this is going like that over and over again. And you blink an eye, and suddenly you're in the 8th inning, and it's like they have no chance against pitches that certainly look like you should have a chance.
Absolutely. And the kind of watching that, one of those dominant games is very fun because, like, I think back to Hendricks in, closing out the NLCS in 2016, where it's just like, it's weird how no one has a chance.
Yeah.
I don't understand why no one can hit the ball, but no one can.
Yeah, you feel the frustration of the opposition because it's like he is dominating you with that, and you can do nothing about it.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and it makes sense because he is the only guy you would think of as a stopper on this team. And holy shit, what he had to stop. He jumped in front of a train. 12 losses? Is that what we hit?
Yeah, he Spider-Man 2'd it, I think.
My God.
The subway careening off the tracks.
Yes. 12 losses in a row. Second losing streak of at least 10 this year with the Cubs' 11-game streak that led to the sell-off, really. I'm
shocked it didn't get to 14.
Yeah.
That they didn't tie the 97 team. It felt like a fait accompli that was going to happen.
And I think talking about the 59-win Phillies makes sense for this team because the team was in first place in late June. That's bonkers. But it is that bad now. Yes. This is a near historically bad team since the deadline sell-off.
Yeah, that is a proper comp in terms of like a team that is one of the all-time bad teams and one that has chosen to become one of the all-time bad teams for the last 2 months.
If this team played 162 games, how many games would they lose?
Good Lord.
I mean, they're
over 100 easily.
Yeah, you might be challenging like 110, 115.
You might be in Tigers territory, win 50 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are rooting for the Orioles right now. Mm-hmm. And so thanks, Jed.
We're rooting for the Orioles right now because also these games haven't been close. They're giving up football scores every game and putting up zeros against nobodies, and then we get Hendricks and Adrian Sampson as the back-to-back stoppers. But this is like a sort of, I guess, bigger point is the owners who have owned the Cubs for the past decade they've been there for a decade leading to this. Jed Hoyer's also been there for that long, and they're this bad now. Why do we trust everyone who got us to this with all the money and resources that the Cubs have, coming from a young core of World Series winning talent? Why do we trust that not everyone should be fired here?
Yeah, it shows a profound lack of imagination to me too, that they found themselves in the predicament that they had gotten into over the past couple of years and just decided, well, okay, I guess we got to just blow it all up and start like a 2012 again and hope that it just goes faster this time, and tell the fans it'll keep going faster and it won't be another rebuild, and hope that works. It feels like doing that again 10 years later, especially when you had, building blocks that you could still build around that were still in either the prime of their careers or close enough that you could project good years going forward, feels like just kind of throwing up your hands and saying, well, I can't think of anything else, so let's try what worked last time.
Yeah, it's like, well, when Epstein and Hoyer came into this organization, it's basically like the cupboard is bare. We have to start from nothing. Yeah, you're starting from nothing that you did now. And we also understand, like, the moves the Cubs made at the deadline. There's an argument for, okay, they're making the best of the situation that they had at that point. And I don't necessarily, I can see that argument, even if it's not my argument. But my thing is, you don't get credit for making the best of a bad situation that you went out of your way to create through your own failure. You fucked up so bad that you did this. You don't get credit for trying to save the building that you lit on fire.
Yeah. You don't come in with a 7-run lead, pitch yourself into a save situation.
And then be like, can you play my closer music now? Can someone play Thunderstruck now? Now I'm gonna try. And
well, and now the focus of the Cubs for the next however many years, unless they pull off some trades, is going to be, I guess, free agent acquisitions a la 2007, 2008, signing like good veterans to join the younger guys, and then just like grooming young talent. And speaking of which, if you were doing any grooming, Kevin,
ooh, professional.
What would you be using?
I guess I would be going over to our good friends at Manscaped. And Manscaped, they did a lot of solids by us. They sent us boxer shorts to wear, which you've given glowing reviews.
It's true. They're the most comfortable underwear I've ever worn.
And Adam, what does Manscaped do for the people?
Talking to a man wearing a Ball State shirt.
Oh, yes, I'm wearing a Ball U shirt.
Yes.
And would you ball?
Your balls will thank you, because if you use the Lawnmower 4.0, which is really quite a miraculous device. I mean, it's got a light on it, for God's sakes. You can, all the nooks and crannies. You'll have the best and most comfortable grooming experience of your life, and whatever length you want. If you want a close buzz down there, you can do it. You want to leave a little more cushion for the pushing.
Want to put a racing stripe in that thing? Yeah, you can get after it. The precision that Manscaped offers, it's precision, it's efficiency, it's a Kyle Hendricks Maddox of your nuts. And
is any of this in the copy they gave us? No.
No, it's not. Are they furious? Maybe. But what we can tell you is, if you would like to groom yourself, and why don't you look good for yourself?
It's the summer. Keep yourself cool.
Exactly.
Can I give it the flock of seagulls look?
You absolutely can. I'm so glad you asked. And with Manscaped, you can, and you can do it at a discount if you use our promo code.
Yeah, if you use promo code AWAYGAMES, you will get 20% off your entire order, plus free shipping, even internationally. So if you're listening to this in Denmark right now, and you're like, my hair down there is just all over the place, and you need some grooming devices, we got you.
Use that promo code. You get 20%
off.
20% off. That seems like a lot. Take 20% off the product that takes 20% off you at Manscaped.
Just as the Cubs eliminated more than 20% of their team, you can get 20% off.
It's time to rebuild down there with Manscaped. And we will send you a complimentary Frank Schwindel as well, who's been kicking the shit out of the ball.
Frank Schwindel has been very good. I've been most excited about Frank Schwindel. I have been most excited about tuning in to watch Justin Steele start. Yes. I'm very excited about that. I imagine we're going to see Keegan Thompson pretty soon.
He literally just threw 4+ perfect innings in his last start. Bring him up. I don't care if he's starting and going 4 innings at the major league level in his next start. It's time for Keegan to see the challenge.
Yeah, you're facing the Royals and then the road version of the Rockies in the next week. So what better soft landing could you think of for him than that?
AAA up here. Bring him up. Yeah, bring him
and
up.
If you want a soft landing,
Manscaped promo code AWAYGAMES, 20% off.
How about this? What was your? So we saw 2 games in Denver.
We did.
What are your favorite? Let's go around. Say favorite stadium aspect and favorite moment from the 2 games.
Yeah, stadium aspect, the best way I can kind of describe how it feels to watch a game at Coors Field is the first night game was a night game. We were up in the upper deck, just past first base down the line. So you had kind of the view of the mountain vista in the background and the sunset over the mountains. And for at least 3 or 4 innings in the middle of the game, I kept thinking, okay, this is going to be the best time of night to get a baseball sky picture. So take one now, take a close up of the mountains. Then a half inning later, I go, nope, I was wrong. This is the best time. Here we take another pitch, and that kept going till about the 6th inning until it finally got dark. So yeah, Coors Field is the most photogenic ballpark I have been to since San Francisco. It is breathtaking.
I think it exceeds expectations. I think it looks good on TV, but I think it looks even better in person. And this is a weird thing to be a compliment, but it feels more normal as a stadium than I think. In my head, Coors is just like crazy
Funky
and it's huge. Yeah. And it feels like more of a like traditional baseball stadium that's not trying to be, it's not like doing a Marlins thing, you know what I mean? It's not like we're in the future 1997, you know what I mean? It feels like a well done traditional baseball stadium that looks cool, it's colorful, it's not too much. Yeah.
Well, not that I'm surprised by this, but I give you credit, Ken, for the planning involved, because we sat in the perfect spot for an evening game, getting to see the sunset over the Rocky Mountains, and then yesterday we sat in seats that were like shaded just as the game began. It was like 95 degrees yesterday. It would have been a nightmare to sit in the sun, and that was very nice.
I've been to 35 ballparks, so you learn a few things along the way.
Yeah, these are great tips. If you're going to see a game at Coors, sitting down the first base line a little bit up for a night game is perfect. And yes, we were, what was it, section 127 or section 134, row 27.
Yeah.
For a day game, we recommend that. There's a very nice usher.
If there were a job that were like a baseball specific travel agent, I feel like you would knock it out of the park.
My God, and in terms of like best moments, and this kind of goes back to what you're saying about how Coors is constructed, because it's a normal park, but kind of adapted for the thin air, and the walls are pushed back. That means every home run in Coors Field is a bomb. And oddly enough, my favorite moment was that top of the 7th for the Padres in the Tuesday night game, where they went into it getting shut out by Germán Marquez.
Who had diarrhea.
Yes.
Who had the shits, and his manager really put it out there for him. So.
Does Manscaped help with that?
I mean,
is this another segue?
Yeah, and Manscaped has a spin-off product.
And then the inning started with Fernando Tatis unloading on one to center, which he tends to do. And then I think it was one batter later was Jake Cronenworth, crushed one that was not leaving the yard to right center, but hits the base of the wall at just the right angle where it bounced past both defenders and kind of got into that giant outfield no man's land. And as soon as it did, was just past second when you saw the ball bound away like that. And as soon as it got to that point, you're like, I think he can take a shot at this. And no skin in this game, but I started cheering, go, go, go. And as soon as the third base coach started pumping his arm, like you get the adrenaline rush.
I've never seen an inside the park home run. That was my first.
Yeah, and inside the park home run, no play at the plate. It was just that well placed, I guess.
He had it. It was also about as clean as an inside the park home run as you're ever going to see, because it wasn't one of those like a guy goes diving for it and it just skips past him or whatever. Hit the ball hard off the wall, and it took a natural carom, but a good amount. But he hit it so hard, the ricochet was hard.
Right. And then one batter later, Tommy Pham somehow upstaged Fernando Tatis Jr.
That was going to be the thing I said.
I'm sorry.
No, that's I can say it right now. It's happening. Tommy Pham. I think that we didn't see. I think Ken was like, I hope one of these is a real Coors Field ass game. And I don't know if we had like we didn't have like a bonkers.
We didn't have like a 14-12 game. But.
Right, but we did see literally the longest home run hit in Major League Baseball this year, and that's an extremely Coors Field thing.
And arguably the longest out from the same hitter.
That's right. And Tommy Pham goes 486 to left field.
Yeah.
And that was
a derby shot.
Yes, absolutely. And that was in the game where we were setting down the first base line, and you knew it was gone right away, but the angle we were at, it like you almost knew it was so gone from the sound of it, and then you just like waited to see it go, and it looked like, well, it can't still be going, and it was, and it went over every seat in left field, basically.
Yeah, that is a home run that would have humbled Pete Alonso.
Yes.
I mean, that's like off the scoreboard at Wrigley for sure.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah. I think of Wilson's 480, 490 shot.
The one against the Dodgers was 495, I think.
Yeah, and that was up at the top of the scoreboard. Yeah.
I mean, Will Myers yesterday hit a couple that were absolutely ripped. I mean, that's about as hard as you can hit a ball. I would like to know the exit velo on those, but it was a great series, a great couple of games. Really, I mean, the Padres and Reds have to be kicking themselves right now. The Reds lose 2 to the Cubs. The Padres just lost 6 of 7 to the D-backs and Rockies.
Yeah, I mean, that's about as bad as it gets.
That's really bad.
You know,
the Padres have that feel of a team that came into the year with all those expectations and had been fulfilling them for the most part, but also kind of slowly taking on water. And now it's still middle of August and it's panic time. And this feels like something that could really break bad if they don't turn things around in the next couple weeks.
it really does feel like someone who started a race too fast. Kind of like they really burned a lot of energy early, and meanwhile the Giants are quietly putting up 4-2 win after 4-2 win.
Signing Arrieta is not a good sign for your team.
No, yeah, which it seems logically that would be the case, and that holds up. And now Arrieta's hurt, so we may have seen the entire Jake Arrieta career. But the signing of Jake Arrieta that the Padres did saved the Cubs about $120,000. So Marcus Stroman next year, anybody?
I think that means that AJ Preller is Tom Ricketts' choice for MVP of this season.
He's gonna get a vote. Gonna get the Tepera vote this year. Yeah, and so I guess parting thoughts. Any food wreck? Anything? Did anything really do it for you at Coors Field?
Jackalope sausage and strawberries and bananas with chocolate on a stick. Oh boy.
Great. I don't think I have a better food comp than that. Adam hated his nachos.
I really didn't like the nachos. Don't recommend the nachos, especially if the person serving it to you will not stop bugging you about tipping him.
Yeah, there's a guy who seems like he is maybe, I was going to say got out of jail today, but I think he's just like on a smoke break from jail working this thing. Just this grizzled fucker at the nacho stand. He asks you what you want on it. You tell him, he's like, we're not supposed to do that, but I will.
And then you're going to tip me.
Yeah.
And then you check out and he's like, and that'll be $9 plus tip. It's like, that's not how this works.
No. And also, people pay with credit cards. Like, they didn't have...
You're not allowed to not pay with credit cards.
Yeah, there's a bizarre character there. Everyone else at Coors exceedingly nice, yes. I would say.
Yeah, it was a nice ballpark experience. It felt very much like being at like a Midwestern ballpark where you're like, do you want something from me? Why are you being so nice?
Right.
Sure. It was good. I don't think I have anything other. I got a weird like pretzel stick. That was fine.
Yeah.
What else? I'm getting emotional to talk about the pretzel stick. I don't think. I thought I got like a bacon cheddar brat, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good amount of information that we've given people for Coors Field.
Get a nice banquet beer. I mean, if Coors goes the way of Miller Park, like becoming AmFam, we'll find some shitty, I don't know, Salino and Barnes Stadium or something.
And if you like randomly seeing a bunch of Cubs jerseys at a series that involves the Cubs, not at all. Coors Field is the place to be.
We saw a Junior Lake jersey. A man had a Junior Lake jersey out here. There were a lot of Cubs fans here, and so that was nice to see. There was a lot of people, I think, doing the same thing. And it seems like Denver just has a lot of Cubs fans.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to WGN in probably like the 70s and 80s, and Harry Carey and Jack Brickhouse building up the fan base. So.
Yeah. Well, any other Cubs news or thoughts that we missed over the last week that we want to get in before we say goodbye to these fine folks on our road trip hotel episode here?
I don't think I have anything.
We are one day closer to the end of the season, so hooray!
Hell yeah! Thanks for listening, everybody. Go to Manscaped. Use that promo code AWAYGAMES for 20% off. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AwayGamesPod. And I guess Adam and I will catch you next week talking about whatever happens.
And follow Ken Schultz.
Follow Ken Schultz.
At Ken Schultz _ Twitter, at Ken Thin Guy Instagram.
Hell yeah. Bye.